me today. I think you provide the best of both worlds because people are looking for an outsider. They don't want somebody who's a career politician. You've got the experience, but from a good place, from being a justice. You're not a career politician.
I'm not. I'm a judge. And that's why I want to go to Washington and lay down the law.
Well, thanks, Joe.
Guys. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. Take care.
Well, Bob, I have a couple questions. This is Ed, and I have a couple questions. And one of them is I heard Dr. Larry Arnn speaking last week, and he was talking about a Supreme Court justice that he knew. I suspect it's, oh, my goodness.
Clarence?
Thank you.
Okay.
Brain fart real quick there. And he was saying
that or Scalia, both were very supportive of Hillsdale.
Yes. And I know he knows Justice Clarence. And he was saying that why would a justice want to retire? He has, if he loves the law, and you love the law, and it's a position of influence to do the right thing. So I got to ask, did you retire with this run in mind?
I actually didn't. What prompted me to decide to retire was that when I had spent 18 years, I thought that in that 18 years we had established the Michigan Supreme Court as being that unique senior court that actually followed the law. It was a rule of law court. It's the kind of court that Ronald Reagan wanted to have, but was never able to create. And it's one that we're hopeful President Trump will have an opportunity to create a real rule of law majority court in our federal Supreme Court. So that was one. I thought I had achieved some stability in establishing the Supreme Court as a rule of law court. Second, the most fulfilling thing besides protecting our Constitution and liberties I did on the court was those 6 years that I spent as chief reforming the judiciary. Our tradition on the court is that the chiefs are selected by the members of the court for two-year terms. I was given the honor by my colleagues of an additional term to make sure the reforms I had started were embedded and permanent. And so at the end of 6 years, I decided it's probably time for me to go out and do something different.
Go out on a high point.
Pardon me?
Go out on a high point.
Yeah.
I had achieved all of my objectives, and I thought, well, it's time for somebody else to pick up the gavel, so to speak, and keep moving forward. And I had no idea. I mean, people. As soon as I told people I was leaving, they started whispering in my ear, and I kind of laughed. I said, "I'm not a politician. I'm a judge. I've run for elective office, but to promote the rule of law. That's something very different." And I didn't see myself in this way. But people kept talking to me, and finally I realized I was just so pissed at the direction of our country, so upset that Debbie Stabenow is the senior member from Michigan in the Senate, and no one, not even her friends, believes that she's a leader.
Yeah,
or a thinker.
I just think we ought to do better.
Yeah.
We deserve better.
We do. We absolutely do. So, Bob, we've got Pat from Ann Arbor who wants to ask a constitutional question of you. So hang tight here, and let's add Pat to the group here. Pat, go ahead with your question.
Hi, Judge. Hey, guys. Judge, just real quick, I'm an insurance adjuster. I just want to say you guys were absolutely fantastic on property rights in Michigan. I don't think people realize how well property rights are protected by our Supreme Court. I'm from Ohio. It's nothing, I lived here for several years, and I deal with this every day, and property rights in Michigan are very strong, so I appreciate that. I guess my question is, we spoke about the war on poverty, and I'm all for ending it. It's, reaped no benefits whatsoever. I guess my question for you is maybe canceling two other wars, which I think from a conservative position would save us tons of money, which is the war on terrorism and the war on drugs. And I just kind of want to feel that out because those are two very important issues to me. And just kind of want to see where you'd stand on that.
Well, let me just simply say, as to the war on drugs, I'm a conservative Republican. In fact, I'm a black conservative Republican. 3 words that are never spoken in the same sentence.
Oh, good. Now Walter's going to call.
And I'm not. I mean, I have libertarian views, but I'm not a libertarian. And here's my concern. My concern is that Americans are unfailingly generous. The libertarian position on drugs is, hey, we're adults. We get to do what we want. And if we want to use drugs, that's okay. And if we could be consistent in our view, libertarian view, I'd say fine. But we will never allow someone who abuses drugs to die without assisting. I mean, these people also have families. We will always intervene. And so I am concerned about a strictly libertarian view of drugs without reference to the damage that they do, not only to the individuals, but to their families and to the communities. In fact, during my tenure as chief, we created drug courts, which were designed to help individuals who had substance and alcohol abuse problems get treatment rather than incarceration. And it was a win-win. We now, I'm a data person, as you might guess, we now have data showing that the recidivism rates, the rates of people going back and reoffending, are about 3 times lower for people who go through our drug and alcohol treatment courts than those who serve a sentence where they get no treatment. So there are ways of addressing drug abuse and addiction. It isn't incarceration, and it isn't throwing a lot of money at programs that aren't my biggest concern. If we start these drug courts, I want to make sure they actually work. So there are things you can do.
Does that answer your question, Pat?
Milton Friedman was, for the legalization of drugs back in the 70s. You had, it's kind of like prior restraint. I mean, for speech, I'm going to ban drugs because X. I don't understand that.
Well, let's have that discussion another day.
I think we can certainly push that one farther. What about the second question there?
Second question was just, I guess, the war on terror. I mean, we spend $800 billion a year on a failed policy that creates more terrorists than it kills. We're funding the Saudis, who are completely outrageous and abuse human rights, as we said during the Clinton campaign, who they donated to, I guess, for women's rights, right? But, it just needs to be a consistent foreign policy and not supporting dictators and, maybe cut it. We could cut it in half and be perfectly fine. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I'd like the judge's opinion on that.
Excuse me. Can I ride on that question, Pat, and ask a question that I hope to, and in a more general sense?
Sure.
Bob, you said that you're all for the rule of law, and that sounds very conservative. And Pat's asking some very libertarian questions. And I was thinking yesterday, as I was thinking about what I might ask you on, when we were talking today, and it occurred to me, the current health care law that's being debated. There's senators right now who are opposed to it because it goes too far, and there's others who say it doesn't go far enough. And I'm wondering what camp you might find yourself in. How much are you willing to? You say you're not a politician, but you have to be a politician when you're in the legislature or in the Senate.
Well, you have to have policy views, certainly. And let me just
you have to modify them. You have to do it. You have to give a little to get a little. I imagine, right?
Well, yes. There are.
Hey,
the point. Let me just make the point.
Hold on, Bob. We've got the hard break right here. Can you hang through, and we'll come back after the break, and we'll let you answer that question?
No
okay.
problem.
All right, Pat. Thanks for the call, and Judge, we'll see you on the other side of the break.
People are always on the go, driving to work, running errands. How do they keep informed? They listen to Wham Talk 1600 just like you. If you're a business owner, your message can reach these people wherever their travels take them. People tune to Wham Radio for the latest issues, discussed by hosts like Joe Pags, Fayrone X, and Dana Lesh. And they'll stay tuned for your message as well. Call 734-971-1600 today and advertise your business with Wham Radio and whamradio.com. whamradio.com.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The White House waiting for Republican senators to deliver a plan to replace Obamacare. Many lawmakers home for the holiday already.
And now this morning, word came that the Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is rejecting the president's plea to just repeal Obamacare now and then take however long they need to replace it down the line.
Fox's Peter Ducey. Investigators on the scene of the Little Rock, Arkansas nightclub where a shootout happened overnight, leaving at least 25 people hit.
All those who were shot inside the Power Ultra Lounge are expected to be okay, as well as the others who were hurt with other injuries. A dispute among people attending a concert at the club is being blamed for the incident, and police say it is not terror-related. Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says Little Rock's crime problem is getting worse.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers, the club's liquor license now suspended. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Your bridge to recovery and wellness is WellBridge. WellBridge is redefining the rehabilitation and nursing care experience with the most amazing care facilities you've ever seen. All WellBridge locations offer a resort-like atmosphere, and their driving goal is to provide each guest with an epic experience. Here's former patient Chris Tangeman from Howell.
I had back surgery. I had to go there for like 3 or 4 weeks, and let me tell you, they were just superb. I'm in this industry. I'm an LPN, and I mean, they're just excellent. The aides, the nurses, everybody. I thought especially that their therapy department was just phenomenal, and I would absolutely recommend WellBridge.
For rehabilitation and nursing care, ask for something epic. Ask for WellBridge. In Brighton, Fenton, Novi, and Pinckney. Now looking for talented nurses and certified nurse assistants to join their growing team, WellBridge invites everyone to learn more about them at thewellbridgegroup.com. WellBridge, your bridge to recovery and wellness starts here.
It's been 5 years since we met Kelly Brighton, just before her weight loss surgery.
I was almost 300 pounds. Because of the Michigan Bariatric Institute, I've lost the weight. I now have the tools to keep it off. I'm a better mom, I am a better wife, and I'm just a better Kelly Brighton, I think.
Begin your journey. Try a free monthly educational seminar at St. Joe's Livingston. Visit stjoeshealth.org/MBI to learn more.
And welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to Catch Our Drift. Joining me in studio, Ipsy Ed Bonderenka.
Howdy.
And let's take care of a little business. If you're looking to get your car fixed, you don't have to use new parts all the time. You can go to Regal Recycling and Auto Parts, 734-663-0976. They're located in Whitmore Lake on Whitmore Lake Road, 6270 Whitmore Lake Road. They have one goal at Regal Auto is to be big enough to serve the needs of the customers, yet small enough to care. So call them up, 734-663-0976, and check them out for used car parts. All right, on the phone with us, we've got former Chief Justice Bob Young, who is now running for Michigan's U.S. Senate seat. Bob, you there?
I am.
Okay,
let me address the question about Obamacare. I think this is a classic example how liberals like Debbie Stabenow bribe constituencies by throwing money at them.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was a scheme, a step that the Dems, with people just like Debbie Stabenow, trying to make the final step toward single-payer health care so that we have the VA for all of us. Imagine that.
Yes.
So they couldn't quite get there, this time. So what they did is they took 1/6 of our economy. They broke the system of insurance that 80% of